Hello, I'm Gordon, aka El Gordo, and today I'm going to be talking about Twodays, which is a comic that I worked on from about 2004 to 2005. It's in some ways it's a bit more straightforward than the Punisher comics I've been working on before then. It's not a miniseries; it's just a one-off special, and it doesn't mash together so many genres. It really is just a straight-up political action thriller, main theme being global governmental corporate corruption. That was basically a big public interest around about the time. The Enron corporation had just collapsed. There was a lot of discussion around what the Millennium Dome was going to be used for, and the MP's expenses scandals had just happened. So it was really in the zeitgeist, and this plotline did tap into that. Having said that, in some ways, the storytelling was a step up in complexity. The plot line was told with a series of flashbacks. A lot of the inspiration for that came from the first issue of Ex Machina, a comic which came out literally within weeks of us trying to crack the script. And what I wound up doing was carrying some of that non-linear complexity into the plotline, and I think it works really well. Artistically, I moved at this point from drawing on A4 paper to drawing on A3 paper to give you an impression of scale. This is a page of The Punisher on A4, and this is a page of Twodays on A3. So I was able to pack in a lot more detail, a lot more texturing. And the pages are just generally a lot better planned out than they had been before. I'd also just bought a digital camera. So at this point, I had a laptop, so I was able to use photo reference to a degree. So the figures and the locations have a bit more realism to them. Having said all that, there are two USPs, unique selling points for this comic. The first being that it's actually set in a real location. We placed a lot of the action within Edinburgh, a city that I went to university in. So in the backgrounds, you'll see streets, landmarks, and buildings of a lot of familiar sites from that city. And I'll be able to prove it now through the magic of video editing. So the comic opens in Edinburgh here on the Cowgate. In fact, right there, this archway with bannermans. Edinburgh Castle. Of the Meadows. With rock and roll band. We have the Royal Mile with St Giles' Cathedral. The second unique selling point of Twodays is that it was based on real events, so to speak. In a manner, really based on a couple of street races in Edinburgh that were orchestrated by the concepts creator, Ian Withers. So to find out some more about that, I've come to here to Narrowboat Farm near Linlithgow to chat over some of the events that led to this comic. Managed to dig out a copy of the script that Ian and myself wrote. Ian actually came up with the idea himself. He was the creator of the name, many of the characters, and also the events which led into it. So I guess the main thing to ask about is, Ian, what could you say about the actual true story behind the script?
True story. That's a long time ago, eh? Yeah, so we based it on some of the messenger races we used to do back in the day. I call alley cat races, where we basically kind of zoom around Edinburgh full pelt, doing all kinds of weird and wacky challenges, um, and and just having a laugh doing that, really. So we used the comic book storyline to basically set the format of the race, and we had lots of challenges like parcels, people to pick up from pubs, and then we had on Lothian Road there was like six phone boxes that all rang at the same time with instructions. But this is where like the real life and the comic kind of started to mesh, and what was real and what wasn't got a bit weird, because one of the pubs that we dropped the package in, the flat above, got raided on Al Qaeda raid that night, and they asked the folk in the pub had anything weird been happening, and obviously we'd all been racing in and out getting packages. Where the phone boxes rang, there was a motorbike crash as it happened. Folk were like, "Oh, has this been put on or what?" And it was just happened by accident. And then the final place we went to, there was a power cut, and when we got there, the door had been battered in. Basically, like the door was smashed open wide, and we hadn't done that. And everyone was looking at each other like, "What the heck's going on here? Like, is this comic come to life, or is it like, what's real, what's not?"
In fact, Ian was living in Edinburgh at the time, and I was in Manchester, so we dug out some photos.
This was us scouting out all the various places and things. Like, they look really retro, only 15 years ago, but yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So I think the main thing to show is, make sure it gets shown, Ian's bike. In fact, looking through the photo reference that Ian provided, a great deal of the sites and locations that feature in the comic appear here. It all helped to build a sense that the events of the story were occurring in the real world that we all live in. So there you have it, 2Days, a comic which takes place in the real world you live in, and perhaps even happened for real. If you'd like to see some more, make sure to check out the short trailer video that is available elsewhere on the Comics Galore website. And the good news is that the remastered, re-lettered version of the 2Days comic is available to read absolutely free on the Comics Galore website. So please check it out, and if you enjoy it, please tell all your friends. Lastly, if you're in the Falkirk or Linlithgow area, check out Narrowboat Farm. Ian sells veggies at the weekend, and he's got some big plans for the site, so keep your eyes peeled. And if you're anywhere in Scotland, keep an eye out for Clan Cycles, an event near you. Ian's keeping the spirit of 2Days alive with an amazing stunt cycle show with some of Scotland's best cyclists. It's really worth a watch. Anyway, that's everything for now. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye!